Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you can get me, kindly type yes, yes in the chat. If you can get me, kindly type yes, yes in the chat. If you can get me, kindly type yes, yes in the chat. All right, all right. Perfect. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're all welcome to the day 8 of the African Digital Conference 2025. I'm Tamon, your moderator for today's session and the founder of this incredible platform that continues to bring voices together from across Africa and beyond. Today, we dive into a powerful theme: public speaking, ethics, and development. Because in the digital age, how we communicate, what we stand for, and how we grow personally and professionally matters more than ever. So this evening, we are joined by outstanding speakers and change makers who are driving transformation with their words, action, and values. Our keynote speaker for today is Mr. Stephen Ougo, who is an expert in digital marketing and storytelling for change. Stephen brings a powerful message on how digital narratives can shift mindset and drive real impact in Africa and beyond. As far as our panel discussion is concerned, we have three powerful speakers who will be coming up as well. We have Mr. Chijioke Otikpa, who will be speaking on soft skills, sales, and personal development, unpacking the human skills behind real success. We have Miss or Madam Ibrahim Ramot, who will take us through public relations and speaking, helping us to refine how we show up and communicate in today's noisy world. And of course, we have Mr. Gideon Ajakbawa, who will be sharing strategies on self-development and using LinkedIn for growth, revealing how to turn platforms into purpose-driven tools for personal advancement. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an evening of energy, learning, and authentic connection. Please keep your notepads close by you, your minds open, and your presence fully engaged as we kick off with today's session. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. Before I introduce our keynote speaker, I just want to be sure he is available here. Mr. Stephen, let's get your reaction. Mr. Stephen, are you available? Okay, Mr. Stephen is available. All right. So, all right. I hope you all can see my screen. So it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker for today, a passionate advocate, researcher, and change driver whose work is reshaping youth advocacy across Africa. Steve is a Kenyan youth rights activist, the SRHR researcher, and the visionary founder of Youth Space Africa, a dynamic platform building sustainable ecosystems for young people through community-driven development, healthcare, collaboration, and policy innovation. Steve is not just an advocate, he is a movement builder. He currently serves as a member of the Nairobi Youth Advocacy Advisory Council and hosts the AFSI dialogues, where he amplifies youth voices in national and continental policy conventions on health, gender, and empowerment. His expertise spans sexual and reproductive health and rights, that's the SRHR, gender equality, and digital youth engagement. Through years of research and grassroots involvement, he has become a respected voice in designing youth-centered solutions that delivers real lasting impact. Today, Steve brings us a timely and transformative message on digital marketing and storytelling for change. In a world shaped by content, algorithm, and attention, how do we tell stories that move people, change perceptions, and drive policy? Steve will unpack the tools, strategies, and mindsets needed to harness digital platforms for advocacy and social transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the spotlight Mr. Steve Ougo. Mr. Steve, over to you.
Hello, great people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining from. Um, I was listening to the biography. At some point, I started asking myself if that was actually me. But of course, some of us we did not get ourselves into these spaces by chance. Our circumstances and situations are what lead us and to being part of the change that we've always wanted to see. I know when I started, I did not even understand what I was doing. I did not understand how the issues mean so much to me as a person and also to the society that I'm part of. Every time when we hear about statistic, about data, probably like, for example, 1 out of 4 girls in Kenya is either pregnant or childbearing. We usually see numbers, and I know uh, the statistic. I deal with a lot of numbers, so most of the people will see the numbers, but here we are not talking about the numbers. These are not numbers. These are people's life. This is a human being. So I started viewing life through the lens of humanity, and that's why most of our programs we embody human-centered design, because if you're implementing a project in our community, you have to engage your community so that the project that you want to implement in that particular community aligns with the priorities and needs of that community, so that it doesn't seem as if you're bombarding the community with information that they don't see it as relevant. We as Africans, we've been indoctrinated, and I'm just these are just as opinions, and but I'm sure there are people that will relate with what I'm saying, because this is based on my engagement with different communities in different part of this continent. I have interacted with a number of I've been into different countries in Africa, and Africa continent, we are more similar than we are different. Most of the time when engaged with our communities, there's an indoctrination. We've been indoctrinated to expect handouts every time when we see politician, every time when we see an organization. We think that it is the politician, the organization responsibility to prioritize our community health. We forget that it is upon us as a community, us as people, to take full ownership of our own health. most of the time when you have activities with our communities, the members of the communities, they always expect some handouts. Like they will be asking if they are signing, if they'll be having a reimbursement. And it has even made it hard for me to engage even um some people, because I might have an opportunity, but the first thing that comes into people's mind is the money. So most of the time, in whatever we are doing, you have to make your community understand why whatever you're doing, why it means so much to them as a person and also to the community at large. And that's why I started embodying storytelling. When I started posting, I know when I started, I used to speak a lot from a point of a lived experience, because I came to realize that stories are more relatable than bombarding people with complex words. I'm in the advocacy space. In advocacy, being an advocate, the specific words that when you use, people will take you serious, and being a young person, we've struggled so much to get some of these spaces. So we won't joke when you get an opportunity to speak. So you will use those jargon so that people can take you serious. And like that is that has become our part of that has become our norm. Like every time you get an opportunity, you have to do extensive research so that people will take you serious. The moment you're given an opportunity to speak, you will want to, like just to shock the whole crowd. We've forgotten that it's not about the words, it's about relatability. How can people envision, see their own story through what you've just shared? Because most of the time, whatever we speak is something that we've borrowed online. And I always ask myself, where do young people get this information? Because my concern is the source and not the information. And ask myself again, are these sources safe? We are going to a world where AI will be the talk of town. Without AI, you won't even be able to execute some specific task. And my concern is, how relatable will AI be? How will it address some of our specific needs? Bearing in the mind that AI does not have emotions, AI does not understand the emotions of human being. So, in as much as AI has the informations that you're looking for, but how can you make it more relatable to our own experiences? How can we make AI address the priorities and needs of our community? That's that is my biggest question. I know in whatever, even when we try, AI is not going anywhere. In fact, that world is getting better and better because we are constantly looking for opportunities that will make work easier for Africa, for human being. And it's like we are moving towards a world where we don't want to struggle to execute some task. If AI can execute 50 tasks in 1 second, is there a need of engaging people? You know, so people want to make life easy. We're moving to a world where we don't have to struggle to be able to execute some task. And I was having a conversation today. We were having a meeting, and uh, I was telling my colleague that the reality of today's world is that hard work does not pay. Hard work should pay, but the reality is that hard work does not pay. And again, it's not about the hard work. Uh, Success success comes as a result of, connection, loyalty. So the answer of success is loyalty, connection, um, such kind of things, but not necessarily hard work. We put in a lot of work, and I'm sure most of us will agree with me that if the system was fair, I'm sure with the hard work that you, with the way, with the effort that you've been putting in place in your area of work, I'm very sure you'll be paid different, probably even more. But that is not the reality on the ground. And now I'm asking myself, now we have AI. Now we're moving towards where technology will be the talk of town. Without technology, we won't be able to execute some of the tasks. My question is, what can we do so that we're able we're able to still retain AI, but also make good use of the skills that comes by being a human being? Because yes, we need AI, but we still need human beings. In fact, AI is a product of human. There's an individual somewhere who came up with AI. So we need humans so that we can be able to come up with even more technology. So now
Mr. Stephen, you are breaking. I don't know if you can get me. Mr. Stephen, can you get me? All right, I think we are. All right, I think we've lost Mr. Steve. There is no issue. When we get back to the Q&A, we are going to hear more from Mr. Steve and what he has prepared for us. Okay. All right, so we are going to move straight to the panel discussion. And of course, in our panel discussion, we have three powerful speakers, a very powerful lady and two powerful gentlemen. So I'm going to quickly go through their bios, but before we do that, I'm going to read their bios one at a time. They are going to have at least 10 to 15 minutes to grace us with what they have prepared for us today. Then we are going to move straight to the Q&A session. So please pay attention, take down the questions which you can. And when we get to the Q&A session, feel free to ask your questions whenever you are ready to do so. So our first panelist is Mr. Chijioke Otikpa, who is a dynamic voice in personal growth, professional excellence, and digital education. So Chijioke is a multi-award winning certified life coach, international speaker, writer, and licensed physiotherapist whose mission is to help people unlock their potential, transition with confidence, and thrive in their careers and businesses. As the founder of Chijioke Otikpa Growth Academy, he has trained thousands across Africa in the areas of soft skill, personal branding, and ethical sales. and of course, digital transformation. His impact has been felt across industries from healthcare and education to business and leadership. Chijioke has been featured on West Africa Democracy Radio, that's the ACNN TV, NTA, and the Shikan Nigeria, where he shares practical strategies on emotional intelligence, financial literacy, and career advancement. What sets him apart is his ability to connect real-world challenges with actionable solutions, empowering individuals not just to learn, but to implement, grow, and lead. Today, he will be sharing powerful insights on soft skills, sales, and personal development, showing us how to master the human side of business and build meaningful, sustainable success in a fast changing world. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the spotlight Mr. Chijioke Otekpa. Mr. Chijioke, over to you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you. So can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. So let me know. Kindly let me know how much time I have.
You have 10 to 15 minutes, please. And then, of course, you have more time during the Q&A to elaborate more.
Oh, okay, amazing. So it's going to be a flight then. Pardon the noise in my background. So yeah, I'm talking about three major things, and that's sales, personal development, soft skills. So I would find a way to put all these things together and then make the conversation as fun as possible. So this is really important that it's coming to us in a time like this. I would want to commend the initiative. It's really important. It is said that people get hired because of their hard skills, and they get fired because they lack soft skills. And this has been the experience of many people. There are people who, when you talk about hard skills, when you talk about the coding, graphic design, the animations, digital marketing, or whatnot, they are there. They have it. They can present evidence for it readily. They can show workings, present your portfolio. They have all those things together and they can present. But when it comes to the intangible skills, the intra and interpersonal skills, the human skills, they are not able to show any evidence. In fact, not just that they can present evidence, but they do not really have those skills. They don't have it to show, and it makes it difficult to work with them. There are people who, in every organization, there are two kinds of people, or let me say three kinds of people. One is in the middle, and I won't talk about that one. One is in the middle. He's the guy that just comes to work and goes, don't look for my trouble. I won't look for your trouble. I won't engage with you. Don't engage with me. I'm just here to do my job and go. Right? That's one. Then there's another category of people. There's the other guy who nobody likes to work with them. Nobody. So the moment they are creating a team, everybody's avoiding that particular person. Nobody wants to be in their team. Nobody wants to interact with them. People are running away from them, and then there's another category of people. Everybody would love to have this particular one. People love to have them close. People love to work with them. People love to do stuff for them, or do stuff with them. So usually you'll figure out that the bulk of the people who are on the last category, the bulk of the people who people love to work with are usually the ones who have honed their soft skills, who have used soft skills as advantage. So let me quickly throw this in right? What is the difference between hard skills and soft skills? I know this is a question a lot of people may have been asking. You know, how do I differentiate? What is soft skill? What is hard skill? What is tech skill? What, all these things, right? It's just terminologies. Soft skills, or let me start with hard skills, right? Skill is simply what you can do, you know, problems, how well you are able to solve problems, your ability to do something and do it excellently well. That's what skill is about, to deliver at a certain level of proficiency, you know. And the hard skills, these are the skills that you can readily present evidence for. You know, these are tangible skills. You can see, touch, hear, you know. Now, what do I mean? Um, you have any uh example, graphic design, you know, coding and all that, then crafts, technical works, technology, information communication, and craft, all those things, those tech stuff, electrical stuff, all those things come under hard skills. The soft skills are intra and interpersonal skills, how you relate with yourself and how you relate with other people. Okay, so this may include emotional intelligence, empathy, self-leadership, you know, even organizational leadership to an extent, communication, your ability to communicate with other people, you know, to relate well with other people. All these ones fall under soft skills, critical thinking, analytical thinking, social intelligence, your ability to blend into social atmospheres, your ability to connect with people in different settings. Okay, so you need to have a good balance of both. We are in a world where everybody's pushing for, oh, let me go and get a job online, let me get a remote work, let me do this, let me, which skill is paying, which one is paying, let me jump in, right? And then at the end of the day, we end up creating an unhealthy imbalance that you now have organizations with bunch of people nobody wants to work with, bunch of staff that would annoy your customers. I mean, pursue the customers away because they don't know how to relate with people. They only know how to relate with gadgets and machines. So this is why soft skills training is of importance. Okay, very, very important. Now, talk about soft skills for a bit, and I'll quickly say this before I go into the next thing. How do you acquire these skills? 1, learn. 2, practice. 3, teach. Allow yourself to experience these things. Okay, go and learn. By learning about emotional intelligence, you can become a more emotionally intelligent person. By learning how to connect to people, reading books on networking, reading books on, you know, social intelligence and all that, on communication skills, taking courses, you can become better. And then you practice. Don't just stop at learning. Go ahead and practice. Go ahead and engage. You can't become a better communicator by reading communication books. Strange, yeah? Yes, you can't become a better public speaker by reading books on public speaking. Come on, you need to practice. You need to do it over and over and over till you master it. That's what helps you. Okay? So the next one is teach. Find opportunities to teach other people what you've learned. Find every opportunity you can get. Teach other people what you've learned. When I was a student in university, one of the things that helped me really do well, really well, is the fact that I don't just study for myself. When I study to teach. I study because I know that one of my classmates is going to approach me and ask me, do you understand this? And I need to break it down in a way that they can understand it very well. You know, I taught tutorials, not just to classes below me, but I taught my set because I learned to teach. You know, I was learning with teaching in mind. So that's one of the things that would help you. Organize classes, even if it's only 5 or 10 people who join, no problems. Go ahead and do it. The more you teach, the more your brain absorbs information. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is personal development. Before I get into sales, personal development. There are different tenets. There are different tenets of personal development. You know, tenets or components of personal development. And I would like to kind of summarize them. We have learning, digital learning, not just digital learning, but self-directed learning. Self-directed learning. What do I mean by self-directed learning? This time around, it's no longer studying school. People that are still bragging, they are still glamorizing their degree certificates. Oh, I studied this. This is what I studied in school. Oh, I'm an accountant. I'm a graduate of so and so. In the world we are in today, less respect is going to be paid to your certificate. Less respect is going to be paid to what you came out of school with. More attention is going to be paid to your skills and the service that you can render, to your abilities, your ability to bring value to the market, your ability to command attention in the marketplace. That's what will drag more attention to you, not what you studied in school or how many certificates you've acquired. Those are important. I wouldn't downplay them, but more attention will go to the skill, the value that you are actually bringing to the marketplace. Okay, so a lot of that value will be determined by what you learn, and that's why learning is important. Can't be overemphasized. Go ahead and learn. There are many opportunities here and there. YouTube is a university on its own. Udemy is there, Coursera is there, EDX is there. So many other platforms. Edonix, Udacity, go on and on and on. There's an unlimited opportunity and advantage for every young person in Africa to ascend. Because what you need to make you stand out, you don't even need to pay for it in the real sense. The information is out there, it's free, it's open source. If you have the willpower to actually sit down and learn, you'll go really far. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is branding. As you are working, sometimes we say things like build in silence, let your success make the noise. And I tell people this sometimes. You can end up building in silence all your life and you still build rubbish. It's very possible to build in silence and still build nonsense. So it's important to show up. While you are building, it's good to come out occasionally and let people in on what you are building. Share your experience, share your achievements. As you are on this call, you are doing this training, you can take some excerpts of what you learned, go on social media and post it. Let people know that you are growing. Whatever you're working on, let people see the impact. Okay? So that's a bit about branding. Branding is simply what people think or say about you when you're not in the room. It's the set of identities, identity markers that you leave with people. That's branding. Ranging from how you dress, how you talk, how you write, the kind of content you put out, and all that. A whole lot of things under this, right? So the next one is networking, building relationships. How is your social circle? What's your social currency like? Okay, very important. Most times you hear people say things like your network is your net worth, but really your network is only your net worth to the extent to which you can ethically exploit and offer value to that network. So find ways to expand your circle, find ways to penetrate rooms that are high value. And then finally, I'll say this. I've talked about branding, I've talked about self-directed learning, and I've talked about networking. So finally, I'll talk about sales. Sales is important. Sales is the lifeblood of every business. Sales is life. Everything in life is sales. Everything you have to do in life is sales. You have to sell yourself through an interview to get a job. You have to sell yourself through your CV to get an interview. Social media, you are selling yourself. When you talk with people, when you communicate with people, you are selling yourself. So life is sales. And even when you think you are not selling, some people say, no, this business thing is not for me. This selling thing is not for me. I cannot do sales. I cannot do that. This business, no. Come on. I used to think I was only good to be a bookworm. I used to think that in my little head. But when reality started waking up on me, I realized I was just being foolish and lazy. Even when you think you are not selling, you are actually selling in reverse. When you think you are not branding or you don't want to do the branding thing, you are doing it in reverse. You're doing it already. You're doing it anyways. The fact that you don't even have anything to sell is something to be ashamed of, really. I'll be very honest with you. You should have products, you should have services, you should have skills that are service ready, that are market ready, very marketable and sellable, that you can pick up any of these things and offer as value. The problem with many people in Africa, many young people especially, is that the only way we think about receiving value is by begging. The only way you think, oh, somebody's going to help me. And sometimes religious circles complicate the whole issue. You're waiting for one destiny helper from somewhere to appear and help you. Meanwhile, that is not how life fundamentally operates. It's going to operate by the principle of exchange of value. And how do you exchange value? It's by selling. You have to bring something to the table so that you can exchange. What skills do you have? What services do you have? What abilities do you have? What's your network like? What can you introduce people to that will, increase the value, the perceived value on you? Okay? And let me just say, out of the many things, I would say 3 things off the top of my head, 3 things that can make you a better salesman. One, I want you to realize that you have to start selling now. You have to start rethinking your life. You have to start creating something you can sell in the first place. Or you have to start looking for people who have things that you can affiliate and sell and make some commission off it. It's a must. It's not something you can be negotiating in 2025. You can't afford that luxury. So number 1 is you must understand what you're selling. You must understand what you're selling. You must understand, whatever it is, your product, your service, or whatever. Product knowledge is important. 2, you must understand your market. You must understand your audience. You must know what the market needs, market demands. The problem with a lot of entrepreneurs or startups is that you go ahead and start something, and then you wonder why people are not buying. You wonder why it's not selling. You did not consult them, and you created, and all of a sudden you want them to be involved. How? They are meant to be the major stakeholders. So you have to do a lot of market research and find out what people really need. You can respond to the market in terms of needs. You can respond to the market needs. Reach out to your friends in school, find out what they need. Reach out to your friends who are into businesses, find out the problems they are having that you have the ability to solve. That's where it begins. That's where it begins. Okay, so another one I'm going to talk about. I'll try to make this a final one. Okay. Okay. Product faith. Yeah, product faith. And that is believing in your product, believing in what you offer, believing in the services that you render, believing in the skill that you have, believing that this has the ability to change somebody's life. I sell my courses, my programs, my mentorship, my books, all whatnot, because I know how potent they are in helping somebody else to transform, helping somebody else to get to the next point of leverage in their lives. That's the confidence that I have. And if you have that kind of confidence, it's going to help you stand at the rooftops and scream to people, this is what I offer. It has the ability, it has potential to change your life. So this is a summary. This is a summary. I would do these 3 different topics for days. I would do them for days, but this is just to open your eyes, to the possibilities that are around you and within you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Coach Chijioke for that powerful insight. Please, if you want to listen or you want to hear more from Chijioke, you can follow him on all the social media handles. We are going to be dropping their social media handles in the chat. And of course, they will be available at the physical event as well. And more on this topic will be elaborated when we have the physical event. We're moving on to the next panelist. The next panelist is a very powerful lady. We consider her as powerhouse. By name Ibrahim Ramot Ikyolua. Forgive me if I don't pronounce that name very well. She is a public relations strategist, youth leader, and founder of Jewel Rama Essentials, a thriving fashion and jewelry brand. With a background in guidance and counseling from the University of Ibadan, she blends emotional intelligence with purposeful communication to drive impact and influence. She is an alumni of the PRO Nigeria Young Communication Fellowship, where she was recognized as the second best fellow and most disciplined fellow, a reflection of her excellence and integrity. Her leadership journey is marked by service and recognition. She is a former Lagos State Youth Ambassador, current National Secretary General of the National Female Student Association of Nigeria, and recipient of the Iconic Ambassador Award 2024 by the Sophia Nadia Foundation. Beyond title, Ibrahim is deeply passionate about how media, communication, and technology can be tools for social transformation, especially in preparing Africa's youth for a sustainable future under Agenda 2030. Today, she brings her unique lens to the conversation on public relations and speaking, helping us explore how strategic communication can influence narratives, shape reputations, and drive meaningful change. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the spotlight, Madam Ibrahim Ramon. Madam, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's an honor to be here this evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, fellow Africans and every other great people from every part of the world. It's an honor to be here. First of all, I would like to say a very big thank you to Mr. Tamon and all of his team members for putting up this wonderful event and for the great work they have been doing in impacting the lives of young people across Africa and the world at large, and also the great work they are doing in shaping the narrative of Africa as the giants of the world that we have. Well done, sir. Thank you so much. I love the fact that we are discussing about public speaking, ethics, and development, which is a very great topic and an important one that we should be having as young people, we should be having as professionals that really want to go beyond our particular countries, community, Africa, that really want to be parts of the global world. And there is another great importance of this is because I know a lot of people talk, we talk and we just like sometimes some people will talk and you just be like, this person just talks. So it is beyond us talking, but us amplifying, like with our voices, amplifying action, with our voices, igniting action. So for tonight, according to the topic that was given, I should be speaking on the public relations and public speaking, which is a very great one. I know a lot of people here could be wondering that why public relations and public speaking. Okay, even if you're not a professional public relations strategist, just like myself, you are, every one of us here will relate with the public. And how do we do this thing? It is very important that we know how to relate. And public speaking is a very great skill. These two skills, public relations. I love the fact that the two other speakers that have spoken, they talked about building relationship, emotional intelligence, personal branding, self-development, which are very, very important. So public relations and public speaking are major skills that we all need even in this digital world in 21st century. So it's a true honor to be here discussing these two concepts because more than ever, your voice is your currency, and our story is our strategy. How you present it, how we present it to the world, determines our influence, not just locally, but globally. So, in a world that is driven by ideas, perception, and communications, in this digital world, there are a lot of information flow. Imagine every one of us here, we are from different parts of the world, but we can be here, be communicating, and be having this kind of discussion tonight. So, it is not just about us talking, but communicating effectively. And public relations and public speaking, they are no longer optional skills, but they are very essential too for global influence and transformation. Because talent alone doesn't change the world. Let's be true with ourselves. Ideas don't speak for themselves. It is not enough to have the knowledge. It is not enough for you to just have the ideas. It is not enough to be talented. But how do you speak those ideas to the global world? How do you pitch your ideas to investors? How do you communicate in a way that people would see to what you are saying? Because sometimes, have you ever been in a workplace that, okay, someone is trying to communicate something? What they are communicating is really going to be effective in the team, to the organization, but the way they communicate it, everyone won't even see to the good side of it. So it is not just about talking, it is about us speaking effectively, speaking with authenticity, and it is about us communicating effectively. That is where public speaking and public relations are interwoven. So it is like, okay, what do we do when we are relating with people? When we want to relate, we communicate with them. Communication is the bedrock of relationship. Any relationship, either in your workplace, either you as a business person relating with your customers, whether you, whatever thing that you are doing, communication is what builds relationship. It is the bedrock of any relationships. So public relations on its own, it's more than press releases, because you might be wondering that, okay, why this is a gathering of different professionals from different backgrounds, then why do they have to come and be discussing about public relations? But it is something that we really need to discuss about, because it is more than just press releases or media headlines. It is the power to shape narratives, which every one of us need. That is why it is very essential that we have great public relations and public speaking skills. And I love the fact that we are Africans, and I'll be speaking, my perspective is going to be us discussing majorly as Africans, how we as young people can use digital transformation, can use public speaking as a tool to transform Africa and the global world at large. Because for too long, the world has been saying African stories. Like, they told African story for us. They told African stories of poverty, conflicts, and despair. But today, we are reclaiming the narrative. At least, with this kind of discussion, with this kind of great people that are here tonight, Mr. Tamon, Mr. Chijioke, other great speakers, and every other persons that is here tonight, we are reshaping the narrative. And through storytelling, through both intentional PR, intentional public relation. I have to say that word intentional, because it is high time we young Africans, we have to be intentional about how we are presenting Africa to the global world. We really need to. It is like the things that we put out there is what these other people that are not Africans, they are saying, and it is what they are going to say about us. And it is very, very important now that we say the African story that we want. We brand Africa in a way that every other part of every other continent would want to be part of us, would want to come and invest in Africa. So, let's appreciate the fact that now we have an Africa of innovation, an Africa of creativity, an Africa of leadership, because we can see it everywhere. Like, and we have a lot of startups in Lagos and Nairobi rivaling Silicon Valley in Kenya. An African of creativity with music from Nigeria, Accra, and fashion from Dakar, influencing the global culture. And now we have an African that youths are rising to positions of power and responsibility. So that is why public relation is how we present who we are. It is not about pretending. It is not about we are saying that okay, we have to pretend to be what we are not. But it is about positioning, owning our truth, and sharing it confidently with the world. So public speaking on its own is amplifying voices across borders. If public relation is the strategy that we use in positioning ourselves to the global world, then public speaking is the stage. Great ideas are only as powerful as our ability to communicate them. Remember, I said earlier that communication is not just about us talking. Public speaking is not just about us talking, but about us communicating effectively. So, great ideas are only as powerful as our ability to communicate them. Whether it's addressing a school assembly, you are pitching your ideas to investors, or you are standing at the United Nations, public speaking is the tool to turn passion into purpose and purpose into progress. It is the tool that you would use to make people to see the greatness in you, to make people to see that potential that is embedded in Africa. Think of the voices that have shaped the world. Let's look at these great men and women like Nelson Mandela that was calling for reconciliation through his voice. It was because of through him speaking effectively, knowing the right way to speak, knowing how to communicate effectively. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie that is challenging the stereotypes. That's the first African woman and even first person in Africa that would be holding that global position, the president of the World Trade, which is a great blessing for us as Africans. These great leaders are shaping the narrative. They shape the narrative, and now they have like it's like them giving us how should I put it? Like they have done their part. Which Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is still alive and is still doing a part. But then it is they've done theirs. It is now a big challenge for us as young Africans to go beyond what they've done, to transform Africa, to put Africa at the global stage, to make Africa to be the first among other continents and not the last. So it is very, very crucial that we learn from these people. You know, each of them, they've used words not just to speak, but to spark change. They've used words to amplify voices and ignite actions. So today, our voice matters as young people. So together, public relations and public speaking, they are catalysts for change. If we young people can use these two great skills in this digital world effectively, then there is no how we are going to shape we will be able to shape the global perception about Africa, and it's going to be a positive one. So we as Africans, as young communicators, our role is we need to take action. We need to I love the fact that they've talked about us self-development, we learning, we practicing what we've learned, because it is very important. You know, it is great that you read books, you attend sessions, you attend public speaking engagements like we are doing tonight. But it is not enough to get all those knowledge alone. It is very, very important and crucial that we put them into practice. What you read in those books, you have to demonstrate it. You have to practice it. You have to gather these things through experience. So we as future leaders, even though we are leaders of today, we are not only leaders of tomorrow. but leaders of today, because the future is now. So shifting the African narrative is very, very important, that we use public relations and public speaking. So African doesn't need a new voice. It needs its voice to be amplified. That is why we as young people must use public relations to tell our truth with strategy. And we must use public speaking to move act and mind with clarity. We need to use both to shape a future that echoes across borders. Let's remember that our voice, our story, our stage are global. So we should all use them wisely. It is very, very important that we as young persons, we use our voice to amplify and take back Africa, the giant that African is in the past. Like, we really need to, imagine the people, these great people like Nelson Mandela, like Mahatma Gandhi, all of these great people, this woman, Malam Yusufe from India. These great people has really done their best in transforming Africa, in ensuring, like, they are the one that sets the path. So the African we are enjoying today, even as at their time where the world has not been so digitalized, the world has not been so technological, but they've set the path. Now it is the time for me and you to also follow their steps, and even ensures that what we will be doing, like the kind of Africa that we are going to be leaving to the younger generations, to be better than the one that they left to us. And how do we do this? It's through us building effective relationship with people, communicating effectively, and positioning Africa as the giant of the world that it is. Thank you very much. I hope I have communicated something tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that powerful talk, Madam Ibrahim, on public relations and public speaking. Not wasting much time, let's move to the next panelist, who is a very powerful public speaker as well, by name Mr. Gideon Ajakbawa. So Mr. Gideon is public speaker, a writer, consultant, and the visionary founder of the Think Positive movement, which is an initiative focused on cultivating purpose, personal growth, and positive change across Africa's youth communities. Studies from Adekunle Ajasin University, Gideon has used his background in leadership and peace building to engage and mentor over 1,000 young people through public speaking, counseling, and capacity building workshops. His work stands out not only for its reach, but for its authentic impact, helping young professionals develop clarity, confidence, and the practical tools to thrive in today's competitive world. He's also a state award-winning youth leader, widely respected for his commitment to leadership, inclusion, and servant-driven transformation. In today's session, he will be impacting the power of self-development and LinkedIn for growth, guiding us through how to build an intentional personal brand and unlock professional opportunities using one of the world's most influential platforms for thought leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the spotlight, Mr. Gideon Ajagba. Mr. Gideon, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tamon. Please kindly confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. I really want to use this opportunity and this medium to say a big thank you to Africa Digital Conference, to the team, to the committee who planned this event. It's really, really a great honor to be here. I really want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, during the session, I want to thank the previous speakers as Mr. Chijioke, Mr. Steve, and our Hebrew efficient mama, Ibrahim. That was a really, really beautiful and powerful presentation. Thank you so much. Okay, so moving on. The topic given to me is actually self-development and LinkedIn for growth. Yeah, during the course of discussion earlier, everybody has been talking about uh, personal branding, self-development, and all of that. But I really, really want us to go deeper into that. But before that, I want to ask us two questions. The first question is, who are you? Who are you? I actually don't need a response to the question. I would love you to answer the question by yourself. It's actually a rhetorical question. To some people, you might not get the answers to the question today. Some people, it can take about years, months, weeks, depends on how you work on yourself personally. Then the second question is, what are you developing? The first question is, who are you? The second question is, what are you developing? Now, before I go deeper, I think it was the day three or the day four. Okay, yeah, Mr. Chijioke actually mentioned it today that personal branding, I mean, your brand is what people talk about mostly in the room when you are not there. That is, when you are absent in a particular spot, what is the most thing people discuss about you? That is your brand. Now, let us have it in this way. If you're being given the space and the opportunity, or let me say, you are the one in the room, and you're being given a chance to discuss yourself personally, what would you say about yourself? What would be the scope, the point of discussion about yourself? We already have the fact that, okay, when you're absent in the room, what people talk about is your brand. Now, you yourself, you are the only one in the room. What would you discuss about yourself? Now, the scope of discussion of which you're going to say about yourself is number one, what you amplify, which is what speaks most louder about you. Two, what you execute, that is what you do. Now, the third of it is both what you amplify and what you do is who you are. Why am I saying this? This is because mostly everybody does not even know who they are. You don't know who you are, then tell me what brand are you trying to promote? Many or most people don't even know who they are. Yet, not talk of recognizing what brand they are promoting. First of all, you have to know who you are. Second of all, you have to know your brand. If you don't know who you are, then tell me how you want to know the brand you're promoting. Why do you need LinkedIn? Why are you on social media? Many people are just there to jump on trends. Many people are just there to just do some stuff that doesn't make any sense. This is where self-development comes in. And mind you, I'll just be giving us some tips of the iceberg. So come when we are going to be having the physical workshop, we are going to demystify self-development very well for better comprehension. But today, I promise you are going to gain something tangible and very, very important. So development from the word develop is actually coined from a French terminology, from a French word, which means developer. I am not a French person, so if there's any French, I'm a Francophone African country, yeah, you can kindly help me. So I do love to go to the grassroots of something for easy comprehension, because if you don't know the grassroots, you don't know the background, then you cannot know the literal meaning. So, like I said, development from the word develop is actually is originally from the word developer. It's a French word, which actually means to unveil. Please, are we still together? To unveil, to unroll, to unfold, to unwrap, and to reveal. These are the basic grassroots of the word develop. Now, what is development? Development itself it actually means a gradual unfolding, a gradual unfolding. Another one I would say that development is actually the process of expanding and growing. The process of expanding and growing. Okay, then I'll give you one more. Development is advancement through progressive stages. Now, let me go back again to development. I want you to pick out something very similar out of the three statements. I said the first one is that development is a gradual unfolding. Now, underline the word gradual. Secondly, development is the internal process of expanding and growing. Now, underline the word process. And thirdly, I said development is the advancement through progressive stages. Now, I would like you to underline the word through progressive stages. Now, let us come together and see something similar amongst the three words I said. You will see that these things are actually a process. They are repetitions. They don't stop. Immediately you start, it continues. So self-development doesn't stop. So we've talked about development. Now, what is self-development? All you have to do is just personalize it. That's all. Personal development is a personal gradual unfolding. Personal development is a personal internal process of expanding and growing. Personal or self-development is the personal advancement through progressive stages. Now, I want to pick out another thing out of this word self-development. It means that when there is no development, there can never be growth. Another thing is for you to develop or for development to occur, that means that there are some basic things they are meant to be in extinction. Okay, let us say in your career or when you are growing up, development is just like changes. Okay, this thing, how I react, I shouldn't be reacting like this. How I think, I shouldn't be thinking like this. How I respond to people doesn't make sense. I have figured out another way, just like Ramos just said about public relation and public speaking. There are a lot of things. Forget about your level, forget about your class, forget about your leadership status. Self-development continues. It does not stop. It does not stop. So, like I said, if there is no self-development, there is no growth. Nothing like growth. If you don't give yourself to develop the self-development, the moment you see that, okay, I think the way I talk, I need to change. The way I reason, I need to change. The way I respond to situations around me, I need to change. These are gradual way of revealing new things about yourself. And one thing about self-development is this. It is about self-reflection. There is no shortcuts. No matter whatever anyone is going to tell you, if there is no self-reflection, there is no way you can develop yourself. Personally, I am someone who is quick to judging people. Yeah, I can say that. I am someone who is quick to judging people. Or maybe, let me say that, maybe someone tells me something about you. I don't even care about whatever you want to tell me. I will just judge you. I have not seen you. I have not heard from you. I don't care. All I'll just do is just see you the way people describe you. But the moment I give myself to self-reflection, besides that, I put myself in a situation of empathy. This is not sympathy, empathy, like putting myself in the same situation whereby people speak about me and they don't even have the chance to listen to my own part of the story. How would they feel? How would I feel? And I was like, I think I am wrong. I shouldn't just judge people by the way they appear. I should just be quick to judgments by what I hear or by what I see. without hearing from other people. Now, can you see how self-development work? Before we go to LinkedIn for growth, you have to study the act of self-development. It's actually an art, because if you're not self-developed enough, then what are you doing on LinkedIn? Like, what do you want to go and do on LinkedIn? It's a question we should ask ourselves. Personally, you know that you are not developed enough. Your growth is actually not well enough to equip you to the places you're supposed to be. Then what are you doing on LinkedIn? What do you even want on LinkedIn? Why are you even going to LinkedIn? So the scope of self-development is actually a broader concept, because it's very, very wide, and there are a lot of topics under it and a lot of subtopics. Topics like goal settings, how do you set your goals? Mindset and attitude. What kind of mindsets do you have? What are your attitudes to reactions, to situations that happens around you? How do you deal with difficult situations? How do you handle them? Skill development. What skill do you have? Mr. Chijioke actually spoke about hard skills and soft skills. Yes, hard skill can get you the job, but when you don't have this soft skill, my brother and sister, I'm telling you, it's really, really dangerous, because day to day, your intrapersonal skills and your interpersonal skills are what will save you and what will give you opportunities. No matter how hardworking you are, no matter how knowledgeable you are, if you cannot speak enough, if you cannot understand people's emotions, if you cannot think properly, if you don't know what to do at the right time, don't know what not to do at the right time, these are skills. These are the things that are actually embodied in self-development. Another thing is productivity and time management. Another thing is emotional intelligence. I think Ibrahim mentioned it. Emotional intelligence. How conscious are you about your own emotion? And how conscious can you be about other people's emotions around you? These are the works subjected under self-development. If you're not conscious about your personal development, then all of these are just going to go vague, because you cannot understand them. Another thing is self-care and wellness. Moving on, we have personal growth. Remember, I mentioned that when there is no self-development, there is no growth. There can never be growth. Another thing is career development. When you are not self-developed, then what career are you building? What brand are you promoting out there? Another thing is overcoming obstacles. And then lastly, for now, it's just accountability and support. These are some topics under self-development, and we can't just cover everything tonight. It's not possible. So, like I mentioned, during the course of a physical workshop, we can actually speak more about that. So let me just briefly go into LinkedIn for growth. I asked some questions earlier. Why are you going for LinkedIn?
Yes, you
Okay,
have Gideon. Mr.
my
Gideon,
time.
you have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes,
Okay, thank you
please.
so much. So, why are you going to LinkedIn? What is the purpose for you to appear on LinkedIn? What are you promoting? What are you selling? Many people are going to tell you that LinkedIn is for this, LinkedIn is for that, LinkedIn is for this and that. Let me tell you something about LinkedIn. Before you go to LinkedIn, before you can you start looking for the way you can grow on LinkedIn. The first question you have to ask yourself is why? Why am I going to LinkedIn? What am I going to do on LinkedIn? Jim Rohn actually said something. He said, when the why is known, when the why is strong, the how becomes easy. When you know reason why you are going to LinkedIn, then how to make LinkedIn a platform for growth personally for you, it's going to become easy. Some people go to LinkedIn just to apply for a job. Some people come to LinkedIn to just present themselves out there. Some people go to LinkedIn to look for clients and all of that. A lot of things. Personally, I am a product of LinkedIn because it actually helps my consistency. Imagine how something abstract can help your career in the physical aspect. So if you don't understand why you are going to LinkedIn, then it's going to be kind of difficult to understand. To know how it's going to become a platform for growth. So I would like to wrap up with these 3 questions that is going to aid your self-development The first question is, who who do you listen to? Or what do you listen to? The second one is, what do you spend most of your time doing? The first question, who do you listen to? What do you listen to? What do you spend most of your time doing? Now, let us bring it all together. These things you listen to, these people you listen to, and what you spend most of your time doing, how does it propagate a visible and a meaningful development in your life? How do you focus on something meaningful through who you listen to, through what you listen to, and through what you spend most of your time doing? Actually, I would love you to reason and resonate on these questions. The first question I asked before the session was, who are you? And second question was, what are you building? So both the first questions I asked at the beginning and the last question at the end, think about it. And I'm promising you, at the end of this session, you're going to have something different, a knack and a spark about your life, very, very new to you that you have not seen before. So thank you so much, Mr. Salmon. Thank you so much, the committee and the planning member, for this opportunity. I hope I've been able to deliver some good value to you tonight. Have a good night rest, everybody. So during the physical workshop, we are going to be having another X2X talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that insight, Mr. Gideon. So we'll move straight to the question and answers. From what all the speakers have shared, I've been able to pick out some few questions which I will be directing them to the speakers, and I hope all the speakers are here. All right, so I will be directing my first question to Madame Rabot. So, Madame Rabot, as a public speaking coach and a PR strategist, how can young professionals actually position themselves as thought leaders even when they are just starting their journey? I'll take the question again. As a public speaking coach and PR strategist, how can young professionals position themselves as thought leaders as you are, even when they are just starting their journey? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that question. It's a great one, and I'm so glad that you're asking that kind of question, because I know quite lots of young people that I mentored. They have that um particular thing bothering them, or should I call it like an issue for them. Or sometimes, just like our last speaker talked about LinkedIn for growth. So there's sometimes some of them find it hard that, okay, how can they position themselves to LinkedIn? LinkedIn is meant for professionals, they are just starting and everything. So, but the first thing is this: I will still be making use of the point of our last speaker when he talked about you knowing your why. Like, you asked that, okay, why are you on LinkedIn? Why are you? So it's just about understanding and knowing that, okay, I really want to position myself as a thought leader, even though I'm just trying. And that is why it is very important. Okay, you already know your why. That, okay, this is the reason why I want to do this. Another thing is, you as young persons that is just trying, that you are just striving to also have a space there, to be given the opportunity to be perceived as a thought leaders, to be no, and not only to be perceived, but to be seen as a thought leaders, to be recognized as thought leaders. It is very important that you are positioning. It is very important that positioning yourself should not be based on where you are, but where you are going, what you are looking forward to, that particular thing that you are having in your imagination, that particular place that you really want to be, is where you should be positioning yourself towards. So you should not position yourself to just where you are, limiting yourself to the fact that, okay, you are just starting, then you should not position yourself well. That is why it is very important. I'll still be making points with the what our other speakers have talked about, self-development. I've been, yeah, like, it is very important that, okay, you develop yourself, you have skills, and you have some basic knowledge about some things you learn, and you are putting those things into practice. It is very important too. Sometimes you don't even know that people are watching, but they are really watching what you are doing. It is very important that the way you talk to people, the way you address issues, the way you like empathy, emotional intelligence, all of these skills are very, very important for you to be able to position yourself as thought leaders. And there's this another thing, you can't give what you do not have. So that is why it is very important to develop yourself first. And having developed yourself, you have developed your you have quite number of soft skills, effective communication skills, public speaking skills, emotional intelligence. You have all of these skills. So it's now the time to position yourself to where you really want to be and not where you are. But make sure that, okay, you really want to be somewhere, you are working towards being at that place. It's not that you are not doing anything to develop yourself, and you want to position yourself, or you want people to recognize you as that big person. It's not possible. So having the number one thing is you knowing your why, doing the work, like developing yourself, learning skills, soft skills, digital skills, all of these things matters. So having do all of those things, then you can now present yourself as thought leaders that you are looking forward to be. Remember, it is very important that you should not limit yourself to where you are, but where you want to be. Whatever thing that you are doing, even the way you dress, the way you position yourself is very important, that you do not just limit it to the fact that, okay, you are only known in your community alone, or you have not become a global person, you have not even been recognized nationally in your country. So no, you shouldn't. So every of the things that you do matters. That's why self-development is very important, just like our other speakers have talked about it. It is very important. It is through self-development that you get to see a bigger vision of where you are, and you are positioning yourself for that place. Things that you do, your actions, daily habits, things that you do every day, all of these things matters in positioning yourself. Because there are sometimes you do some things, you just do it as who you are, and you don't know that thousands of people are watching you, a lot of people that you don't even know about. That is why it is very important. Develop yourself and position yourself to where you are, where not where you are, sorry, but where you want to be. You need to position yourself not where you are, not for where you are, not for your local community, but position yourself to the global world. Thank you. I hope I've answered the questions.
Yes, you have. And I'm sure upcoming public speakers are actually getting what she's sharing. And this is really going to go a long it doesn't matter if you are still taking probably a training in public speaking or you are already a graduate. All what Madam Ibrahim has shared is really going to go a long way to improve and probably take you to the next level as far as your public speaking career is concerned. Please, if you have questions, you can either raise your hand or drop your question in the chat area, and we are going to call you up, unmute your mic, and you will have the opportunity to share your questions with the panelists or the speakers of today. All right, so my next question will be going to Coach Chijioke. So, Coach Chijioke, you actually mentioned that you have mentored thousands. Um, you've actually mentored thousands through your Growth Academy. So, my question is, what's one soft skill that consistently transforms people's career, but is often overlooked? What's that one skill that consistently transforms people's career, but is often overlooked? Thank you. This is Mr. Okay, let me bring you back up. So, Mr. Chijioke, I hope you got my question. You can unmute your mic and you help us with that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can get you now.
Okay, amazing. So you asked them what's what's that one skill?
That soft skill that consistently transforms people's career, but is often overlooked.
Okay, I would say that is human communication. Human communication, the ability to communicate yourself, the ability to express your value, and your ability to connect to people. All these things go hand in hand. And it's something that a lot of people are not, coming out from school with. It's a complex set of skills. It's a skill set: communication, human expression, connection, confidence. So all of these things go hand in hand. In hand. Every single human being needs to be able to communicate their value, needs to be able to communicate their worth, needs to be able to communicate their abilities, communicate their skills. Now, even sales is under communication. So there's almost nothing you can think about in life that you would want and get without communicating. Even if you want to beg, you have to still communicate the begging. You have to communicate to somebody or to a group of people, right? Or you are applying for a grant or whatever to communicate. So you need to learn how to confidently stand in front of somebody or stand in front of a group of people and sell an idea, pass a message, share an information, or maybe pass on a philosophy to them. And that's what the whole concept of public speaking is about. Even public speaking, you need to be able to communicate ideas. So yes, I hope I answered that question.
Yes, you have. So I'm going to take two questions from the audience, and then I will get to Mr. Gideon. All right, so Mr. Suleiman, your hand is up, so I'm going to unmute your mic, so please feel free to ask your question. Mr. Suleiman, can you unmute your mic, please? All right, so while we are waiting for Mr. Suleiman, I have a question here which is directed to Mr. Chijioke. So this question is from Gray. Yes, good evening. Go ahead, Mr. Suleiman.
Good evening, esteemed leaders. My name is Oladipo Posu. I'm a public administrator, an entrepreneur, and also Deputy Speaker, Association of Business Management, Yabatech.
Okay.
My question goes to Honorable Ramon Ibrahim. You mentioned about public speaking. You said leadership is about public speaking, if I got you right. For me, I would like to ask, should leadership take the spotlight, or they should speak through the action or solution? Because nowadays, sorry, I'm not done yet. Nowadays, people tend to speak a lot rather than providing a solution or actionable way forward. People tend to speak, they tend to voice their mind out rather than looking for a solution or support, being a supportive system. So I would like to emphasize on that. Do you believe in public speaking, advocacy, rather than providing an actionable solution?
Okay, thank you very much for that question, sir. What I said was that the bedrock of any relation with public is through communication, is through public speaking. You can't do something without communicating with the public. Okay, you have a project you even want to implement. You have to have a team, and the team is not that okay. Like, you have to communicate the project to them. You have to tell them. They have to know that you want to do this particular thing. That's the where I said public relations is all about you communicating effectively. Sometimes you might want to do organize a very big project. You really want to do it. You really want to get into action. But there are people that you have to communicate this thing to before you start, before you implement, like the stakeholders. of that particular project. And who are the stakeholders? It could be the people in the community, people that you also are working with, people that are going to be part of your team. In public relations, part of our principles is stakeholders engagement, which is very important. Like that's the aspect where I was talking about public speaking as the tool that we really need as public relations, as public office holders. So I'm not in support of we just talking. What I was explaining was us communicating effectively. And I'm also someone that supports action. Most of the time, I don't like us just talking. And if you listen, while I was speaking, I talked about the fact that it's not enough for you to read books. It's not enough for you to have come to a gathering like this. But implementing what you've learned is what really matters. So I support people getting into action and not just talking. Whatever thing that we discussed about here, whatever assignment that we give ourselves, every one of us should carry it out and not just that we just talk. So, and then remember, I also said in my this thing that you speak in a way that amplifies action, in a way that ignites actions, in a way that gets people to be on their toes. That is what that is why I was talking about public relations and like public speaking as the bedrock of any public relations. I hope you understand. So I support actions. I support us doing what we preach. Like I understand the perspective that you are coming from. Some public holders, some public office holders, they tend to say a lot of things, and then we won't see what they are saying. They might promise people tons of actions, like a lot of things, but they won't do it. So I am in support of we communicating effectively to build meaningful relationship. And that relationship, we should be using it to transform our world, to transform our community. While I was speaking, I charge us all as African youth that we really need to get into actions. We really need to make use of these digital tools, technology, and to amplify our voice. And not just okay, what do we want to amplify? It's through what we are doing. Remember, I just said you having the idea is not enough if you do not communicate it effectively with people. If they do not really understand that, okay, this is what they want, that this is what you want them to do. If you do not communicate it well, no matter how the good is or benefit that they are going to get from it, they won't do it. But you communicate in a way that they will see that, okay, if we do this thing, it's going to benefit us, it's going to benefit our community together. I hope I've answered your question, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Ramot, for that answer. All right, so let's move straight to the next question, and this question is coming from Grace Adefa, Madam Grace Adefa. So this question is directed to Mr. Chijioke. So how do you go about building your brand as a start? Sorry? So the question is, how do you go about building your brand as a starter, and how do you reach your target audience?
Okay, good. So I'm going to share very simple steps. One is just start. Get started first. It's good to build, it's good to prepare, but just get started. Get started first. Let me tell you what I did practically. And the truth of the matter is, what works for me may not work for you. Find your own strategy. But in the meantime, let me share my own journey. Now, when I started, I didn't really start, I didn't have the intention of, having thousands of followers on LinkedIn or Facebook and all that. I didn't even have the intention of monetizing my brand. But then this is what happened. I was learning a lot. I highly recommend, start learning things, start building yourself in a line that you want to represent or you want to be known for. It can be one or two or three or four things, depending. Have an identity you want to be known for. There's something that is burning in your heart. Gain clarity first, then start learning. Accelerate your journey by learning. Okay, so you take series of courses, really low. going to start pressing. Initially, it's going to be like a drop, a flicker of interest. But the moment you start learning and gathering resources in that area and feeling yourself fall, that interest begins to well up. It's like when water drops are consistently dropping on a particular spot, and then that spot begins to break and expand. That's what will happen to you. So it got to a point I was so uncomfortable knowing all the things that I knew for myself. I wanted to share. It was as if my head was literally getting bigger. I was becoming very uncomfortable. And then what did I do? I started creating WhatsApp groups. Join me and learn about personal branding today. Let's discuss personal branding. Let's discuss networking. Let's discuss digital learning. Let's discuss LinkedIn optimization. And people will join 50, 40, 60, 100. They will join. And I realized I loved doing that. The more I did it, the more people joined, the more it came to a point. People were the ones who were even telling me, oh, these classes are so good, you need to start charging for them and all that. So that's by the way. Now, as you are doing all those things and getting results, those results that you are getting, push them out. Post about your classes or whatever you are doing behind the scenes of your work. You make soap or you make shoes, whatever. Post it online. Let people see how good you really are. Develop yourself. Take online courses. As you get the certificates, post them online. These are little steps that you can be taking to make sure that you are solidifying your brand footprint. And before you know what's happening, more and more people will be following. And I'll recommend this thing finally: build communities around what you do. Build communities no matter how small. Host classes. That class, the first one you've hosted can become the community, and then you keep going on and on from there. But build communities, have contents that are evergreen, contents that are searchable online. What do I mean? An example would be YouTube. An example would be Facebook page, not just Facebook profile, Facebook page. Create content on LinkedIn, write articles and submit online, use Medium. Now, the goal is when people go to search for you online, you go to type, you can try this later, type my name on Google. You'll see what will happen. You'll see what it's going to bring out on the first page of Google searches. So you want to ensure that you are also being well represented. There's a whole lot to this, a whole lot.
All right, thank you very much for that response, Mr. Chijioke. All right, so my next question goes to Mr. Gideon. So, Mr. Gideon, you've turned LinkedIn into a platform for transformation, right? So, what are the biggest mistakes people make when trying to grow their presence on the LinkedIn platform?
Oh wow, that's actually a brilliant question. um, Truthfully, many people made a lot of mistakes on LinkedIn. Personally, I'm a victim of it because I think I came to LinkedIn around 2020 or 2018, and when I got there, all I was just doing is I was then an apprentice in a panel-beating workshop. So all I just do there is just connect with um, Mercedes Benz, Sony Autos, all of that. Company that they don't even know that Gideon Ajagbawa exists, and I'm trying to connect with them just to see what I'm posting, thinking that the moment I realize that I have I have connected with them, they will start seeing everything I am doing. I started posting some stuffs I did with my boss in the workshop. So then later I realized that yeah, you're wasting your time, or should I say I'm doing it in the wrong way. So I left LinkedIn. Then I got an admission into the university. I just forgot about LinkedIn. So I think coming around 2022, 2023, I came back to LinkedIn. I studied the way LinkedIn worked. Before I even posted anything, I had to start commenting on content, seeing how people are doing it, just for me to learn. So the common mistakes mostly everybody do on LinkedIn is they assume they know it. And another thing is they assume that just like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, that the moment you post, like everybody's gonna see what you post. Or you start having likes and viewers like that. LinkedIn doesn't work like that. That was why I mentioned that before you go to LinkedIn, LinkedIn is actually another social platform, but it's kind of unique, known for its professionalism. So it's about being professional. Even if you're not well professional, at least you have the tenacity and the mindset that I want to be professional in this kind of industry of which I am. Then coming to LinkedIn is for you to learn. So don't just come with the mindset that I know it all. Nobody knows anything. Even Emmanuel Uduka, who has thousands of followers, thousands of endorsements of deals, he still learns. So number one is that people think that they know it all. And secondly, I would say that people are actually there for the impressions and coming there to gain more followers. I mean, the mindset is whenever I post today, and I should have at least 500 impressions, 200 impressions, and God will have it. LinkedIn algorithm is very, very, should I say, wicked. Imagine someone who has about 10,000 followers, 15,000 followers, and he posted something about 2 weeks. The person is still having about just 5 likes. And the 5 likes came from personally him and maybe some of his close friends that knows him. So you don't just come to LinkedIn thinking you know it all, or for the purpose of gaining impression, you want just to be seen. It's about consistency. That is one thing LinkedIn helped me with. Actually boosted my consistency. It's not about uh, seeing the result immediately. It's about you being patient, giving the value of what you have known. Just like Mr. Chijioke said, what you have known. To me, this is what I use LinkedIn to do, to give knowledge of what I have known, and to learn from others what I am yet to know, and to see the way things are done so I can learn from it. So let me just wrap it up this way. Common mistakes, let me just generalize it. We make on LinkedIn is coming there thinking we know it all, just like other social media. That is why you never see all these fanatics on Twitter come to LinkedIn. You cannot come to LinkedIn and catch useless clues. It won't work. Before you have one like, you suffer for it. So you don't just come there to feel like you know it all. And two, don't be there for the fact that you want to be seen quickly. It takes time. So the mistake people make is that they are not patient enough. They don't want to learn and they think they know it all. So I think I've answered the question, sir.
Right. Thank you very much for that answer. I believe everyone has actually understood how they can find their way around this platform, which has been actually created for professionals. So I'm just going to check again in the chat if we have any other question. All right, there are no questions. So guys, we've actually come to the end of this segment or this session. I will be sharing the attendance sheet and the chat area. So please make sure you fill the attendance form before you leave this live. If you leave this live without filling the attendance form, I'm very sorry. No other person will be able to share this form with you. So make sure you fill the form before leaving the live. This is very, very important. I want to thank the speakers for making sure that this event actually becomes a success. And we are hoping to see each and every one of you again when it comes to the physical session. So please don't forget. We are going to be releasing the dates for the physical events immediately after this virtual events in the various countries. We're going to be having physical events in 5 different African countries. So please stay tuned. Once we've deliberated on the dates, we are going to communicate the dates and the time in the various forums. So please make sure you are on alert. Make sure you get yourselves registered when the time comes. So just give me 1 minute. Let me share the attendance sheet. All right, so that is the attendance sheet. Please, after the session, make sure you are part of the networking community and make sure you connect with each and every one of these amazing speakers. I will be dropping their LinkedIn profiles in the networking forum as well as the other main forums where we are having this, we are having a recap of these sessions. So please make sure you connect with all these speakers. Of course, you're going to learn one or two from them. And again, we have other sessions which will be coming up. These sessions, our sessions are going to run until the 20th. So please make sure you attend each and every one of these sessions. They are very, very important. Please, thank you all for joining us today. If you have any other question, please, you can ask the questions at the end or in the networking forums. We have the speakers available in the networking forum, so you can redirect your questions to any of the speakers and they will gladly answer the questions for you.